Can't help but feel jealous when girlfriend, 26F, discloses things from her past to me, 25M. So we've been dating for 1.5 years and have been living together for over 3 months. It's a great relationship. We fit together really well character-wise, sex life is good. We have the same goals in life and have full support from family and friends. Our communication lines are always open and we often speak out affection towards each other. We both have a similar past of one serious relationship and a period of casual sex. While we have stated that we don't necessarily have the desire to know the details of each other's past love and sex life, it was me who said this first. Sometimes she will say things that still hurt me. Like when she was on vacation with me, she will reminisce about her most fun vacation, which was a drinking and party type of vacation, to a location which is not known for its cultural background, so to speak. Or she will tell me about one particular night when she was younger where she drank so much she almost blacked out and danced, kissed with a bunch of dudes, which her girlfriends had to remind her of. Last weekend I surprised her with a weekend trip, a nice dinner at a restaurant, a card and some gifts for her birthday. She seemed happy and said so multiple times, but then at the end she says something like, "In a weird way I don't feel like it's my birthday, as I used to go party for my birthday." She then quickly added, "But this weekend was also a party to me." I still felt like shit that she'd say something like that after all the effort I put in to surprise her. These moments are few and far between, but I always make a mental note for myself. I also have quite a sexual past, but I try to divulge as little as possible. Is it weird for me to feel like shit and insecure at these times? I don't want to feel like the guy she settled down with. Meanwhile, all she talks about is our future kids, buying a house and growing old together. TL.DR. Girlfriend sometimes makes remarks about her past partying life and it makes me feel like shit. Am I insecure for it? I don't want to feel like the guy she settled down with. There is a huge difference between settled for and settled down with. One implies they could have done better but just accepted fate. The other is just maturing. These comments really just sound like she's reflecting on the past a little. Honestly, this sounds like it has very little to do with your girlfriend at all. She's not describing sexual encounters or anything like that, she's just talking about her past. Do you want to know about her life and the things that made her who she is today? If not, then I think you need to reevaluate why you're in a relationship with this person to begin with. Her past is part of who she is, not something to be hidden or ashamed of. I think it would be helpful for you to talk to a therapist and try to figure out why these really innocuous stories about her past feel hurtful to you. Your feelings are valid, but in this particular instance I don't think it's an appropriate response to the kind of informs being shared. I can understand your feelings. When my wife talks about her past relationships and experiences, I sometimes feel weird. Know that it is okay to tell her your feelings and maybe tell her you don't need all the gory details. That said, I don't think it was her intent to insult you. I don't think she was saying your trip lacked anything. She was just making the comparison. As others said, she is just noticing how she is changing. With birthdays we tend to take stock of our lives. Ask her about it. Come right out and say, "Do you miss the partying?" Also, be careful trying to compete with the past. Wait until she discloses that she once had sex with a guy more well endowed than you. Grow up. You're dating an adult woman. I feel you, bro. Going through the same thing. Your Jeef's comment, "In a weird way I don't feel like it's my birthday, as I used to go party for my birthday," is a slap in the face. You put effort into something nice and she craps on it. Her backtracking comment is bogus. Just because she partied a lot in the past, doesn't warrant a reminiscing moment, every time you do something. You two should be creating new memories together. That's the part of a relationship. Just make sure you are not the safe guy, rather than the kind of guy she really wants to be with. You deserve someone who truly want to be with you. Your concerns are valid. She on a mission, but she belongs to the streets. Just enjoy yourself and ride it out until she EFFs up. She gonna F up. Retroactive jealousy could help you out. You're definitely being insecure, but that's not an unforgivable sin on your part. She needs to learn how to moderate her speech. Maybe it is best that both of you lay out what is in your respective Carfax reports. This way you don't get caught unaware and feel hurt. This would give you time to pre-process things mentally, so when she bring up her past, you would have already known and gotten over it. She's for the streets. There's nothing wrong with her enjoying her memories, but it does seem out of place for someone to keep talking about how they miss making out with random people literally in front of their current partner. I have exes. I've had a good time with all of them. My partner knows about them. I know about theirs, but I don't openly talk about this. I think it's reasonable to be bothered by it. You're not insecure, but you're surely not there with your relationship yet because you're not communicating this stuff to your partner. We can't do that for you. No, you're not insecure for it. I bet if you start doing the same to her, don't do it. The same insidious thoughts will creep on her. It's okay to talk about each other's past relationships when you're getting to know each other, but after a while there's no point in still talking about it. An ex would tell me some story and always remark it with an ex. A guy I used to date, after a while I had to tell her to stop because I was starting to get mad about it, seemed on purpose to trigger me. You can share stuff from your past. But if it's not relevant to the story, naming people you've had sex with in that time is pointless. Sounds like she wants you to know about her past but doesn't know how to bring it up. I'm guessing she's embarrassed about certain things and wants you to find out from her instead of someone else. I had a similar conversation with my girlfriend and one of her friends. I think this is a very guy thing to do. The way we resolved it was just me telling her how I feel about those conversations and that I recognize her for who she is now and not the stories from her past because they don't necessarily make me feel the greatest, even if the feeling is totally irrational. Whenever she says things that hurt your feelings, just tell her right away. You can say something along those lines. Hey honey, I know you didn't mean to hurt me, but when you say, I can't help but feel jealous or insecure. And I know you mean well, but could you just be careful when you talk about this topic, etc., etc. If you admit your insecurities, you're allowing her to feel how much you care about your relationship, and how you trust her with your vulnerability. I'm sure she will be more than happy to reassure you. Hope this can help. My boyfriend and I have been together for 4 years. I slept with multiple people before him and he slept with one. I talked about my past life a bit in the beginning. Now it's every once in a while that I talk about something that I remember, not usually anything about past sex. I tend to really overshare in general, and when I talk about my past it's not to hurt him whatsoever, it's because I feel comfortable with him and he's my best friend. I get how saying stuff like, I used to party for my birthday, this doesn't feel like a birthday, can come off hurtful, but in my personal experience if I said something along those lines it's more like I'm realizing I'm growing up. Those things don't interest me as much and it's getting farther into adulthood and losing that carefree self I once was. I would reframe it as she is sharing parts of her life with you and feels secure enough in your relationship to do so. Don't hold all these remarks in and start building a grudge, resentment towards her. Sit her down on a night you're both feeling good and chill and explain how this stuff makes you feel. Heck, write it all down so your thoughts are clear and concise and then read it to her and don't let her interrupt. This is the plot to Chasing Amy, isn't it? Too long did not read. Yep. You'll probably get over it as long as you're not, indulging yourself. I mean, if you're not allowing yourself to sulk and be butthurt and get all up in your feelings about the fact that your girlfriend is a person and not a doll you purchased fresh out the box, then eventually you'll probably move past it. As time passes, she will talk about that shit less and less, and when she does on occasion, you'll be like, youth really is wasted on the young, or something pithy like that. I would feel the same way. It comes across as she is not being thoughtful of your feelings, nor is she allowing you to make new memories of your own for bringing up the old ones. Telling her you don't want to hear these stories even in the nicest way makes sense but won't go over well. I don't see an easy way to handle this other than to plan future vacations that really get her attention. She won't be as likely to bring up drunken escapades on a whitewater rafting trip or while skydiving. Yeah, this is a you issue. It shouldn't be weird to reminisce, and it doesn't sound like she's broken any boundaries by explicitly or even mildly describing her past sexual encounters. She's just saying how her life is different now, and sounds fairly happy about it. The fact that you naturally take it to an insecure or critical place is you. There's no indication in this post that she said anything that should make you upset, yet here you are. Honestly, if that's exactly how she's wording things, I sort of get why you're feeling insecure. Folks may disagree with me, but if she's consistently bringing up other guys and describing those times as the best times, it's understandable why you feel like you're sort of playing second best. I don't think that's how she means it. I'm saying I get how you interpret it that way. I would talk to her about it. My lady and I had some similar issues when we were your age, so we decided to redo our younger 20s days and went out to some clubs, parties. It was just as, if not more, fun for us. Maybe do something like that. Relive some of those party, rager days and make them just as fun for each other. Have you told her you just don't prefer to hear those stories from her past? Just express how they make you feel, and if she cares about you, then she'll know not to bring that up with you. Yeah, you're too insecure. You say these are few and far between, and honestly, they're really tame. So why make a mental note of it? You say you try not to divulge your sexual past. So that means that sometimes you do. And she didn't even talk about sex. You're just leaping to that conclusion. It is natural to reflect on past birthdays, and the fact that you're not interested in hearing about her past makes it seem like you don't really care to get to know her. It's weird. When I saw the title, I thought this post would be about her referencing past relationships. But everything you've written here is pretty benign. Reflecting on the fact that birthday parties used to be wilder when you were 21 isn't abnormal at all. She's growing up and maturing, and she reflects on that from time to time. It really shouldn't be a big deal. You say you don't want her to settle down with you, but whenever she references partying you get upset. So what do you really want here? Do you not want to settle down with her? You sound like you specifically want to not hear about her past sex life, but you said that you'd discussed that you're not too interested in hearing about her past life. I don't think that I'd get the former from the latter, so I think you might have to explicitly say that you want to not hear about it. And, you know, she's 26. She had a life before she met you. Her past is going to organically come up in conversation. I think you should have a think about what kind of things upset you and why. Graphic descriptions of sex acts might be off the table, but mentioning she once visited a particular restaurant with her ex. How would that make you feel? It doesn't seem like anything you mentioned her doing, saying had anything to do with you. Consider that she has mixed feelings of her own about leaving behind the party life, even though she chose you and this. Everyone reminisces sometimes. Also, you are the guy she's settling down with, aren't you? Lol. I am 27 female and my boyfriend is 26 male, and these kinds of conversations come up a lot for us because for us we discuss how much our lives have changed in a short amount of time between settling into our careers, buying a house, moving in together, and just generally growing up. Lol, sounds like she's doing the same thing. As long as she isn't saying she wants to go back to those days, then everything is probably fine, but maybe try talking to her. You think she's missing other guys. I think she's missing being young, carefree and more social. Maybe you two need to go to more parties. You are just 26 after all. It doesn't seem like she's trying to hurt you, she just isn't trying to hide anything either. And that's good. You're focusing on the sexual nature of these memories, but to her they're just that. Memories. You talk about them, laugh about them, it's fine. If you have similar experiences that you avoid talking about because you think they'd bother her, maybe loosen up a bit with those. You can share them too. You don't need to pretend all those memories were bad just because they weren't with her. It sounds like she's talking through the fact that she's growing up. I think you're taking a lot of what she's saying out of context. It doesn't sound like she's talking about sex really that much at all, but that's what you're hearing. You say you have a great relationship and have open communication lines. It seems she is comfortable talking to you about her past and trusts you. I think that should be a very positive thing. Getting jealous or upset over this reveals could mean you have some insecurities to deal with. If those reveals are meant as jabs to get a rise out of you, then it's an entirely different story. But there are no indications of that in your story. It sounds like you need some reassurance from your girlfriend that she really wants to be with you. It's not weird for her to talk about her past with you, though. To her, it's probably an important part of being close to you. You should try to work out a way that you can both share the parts of your past that you want to while being clear that you're happy with your relationship and invested in your future together. What I want to know is why you have 100 comment karma. Makes me think you've posted here before about her and it didn't go as you thought it might. Based on that and this post you sound a little insecure and jealous, irrationally so. I'm not sure what, exactly, the issue is. Birthdays are often times where we take stock of where we're at in life. Your girlfriend was probably expressing that her life has changed since her early 20s. That's normal. I wouldn't take it personally. Yes. It's weird. Don't be weird. I'd reframe your thinking. You can help going to the worst place, but you have to try. She's not going into wild sexploits. She's ruminating on the past on a birthday, which is kinda what people do. Are you really considering asking her to literally never talk about the past or how she's changed? I don't think that's healthy. If you don't ever want to hear about men, tell her that. But I think you are being a little narrow here and blaming her for it. I have a mug that says, I am enough, on it. Maybe find ways to work on feeling that you are enough. She chose you. I found the book What to Say When You Talk to Yourself very helpful, also the podcast episodes that discuss it on by the book. I personally would be totally chill with my girlfriend saying the sorts of things your girlfriend is saying. The comment about it not feeling like her birthday because she didn't party would have also rubbed me the wrong way, but I don't think she meant it as a slight against what you did but more as a reflection on her past. You guys are right around the age that you become the adults you are basically for the rest of your lives, and a part of that is moving on from your past, and part of that moving on can be reliving it or talking about it. I think you are just particularly sensitive or insecure about your relationship, and that's why these comments are bothering you so much. No red flags and your relationship seems solid. Good luck on working past this. Hey, jealousy is a normal human emotion, but it's important to remember that it comes from you, and putting the responsibility of dealing with what is ultimately your insecurity is not fair. Everyone feels insecure and jealous, but doing some self-examination and working on your self-esteem is the way to move past it without burdening another person with doing your work. She's with you, you know. I'm sure there's plenty good reasons for that. Besides how hypocritical this whole thing is. If your GFS comments are making you feel undervalued, you need to come out and tell her your feelings are hurt, without sulking or blaming, because she may not know. Sounds like you're terribly ashamed of your and her past. I'd say you definitely need to process whatever your guilt and issues are instead of projecting it on her. Your girlfriend clearly has some fond memories and few regrets. You're being incredibly unfair and bringing undue resentment into the relationship. She's literally just reminding you she was alive and had a life before she met you. That's not offensive. Yeah, I disagree with most of the responses here. It sounds like she keeps emphasizing how she used to have so much fun and now her life with you is mellow, boring. That's just kind of rude no matter what the relationship. Also, I notice younger people have this obsessive need to share past romantic exploits with their partner. When you are older, you just don't care about relating how you made out with a dozen people in a night. And why even bring that up?